All Blacks and Wallabies, Bledisloe 2, folks, and it's the ABs who get the win, 28 points to 14. Pretty bloody wet over there in Perth. Apparently it'll be a fine all week, but the heavens opened for this one. It meant there was a few errors in this game. The turnover count was certainly pretty high. If you're a Wallabies fan, I feel like once again you will be pretty frustrated with the amount of chances your team had and fluffed. Some of them from the boot, some of them from the line out. There's a lot. Some of them just the handling don't go that well. And for the All Blacks, they have 4 tries to 1. It keeps the pressure on South Africa for the game which is coming up against the Argentinians. It means they've got a job to do. So the All Blacks have done more or less everything they could. Discipline was a bit of an issue again. Penalty count was pretty high. Both sides in the game, to be fair, conceded a fair few penalties. But yeah, the attack still doesn't look that sharp, but I find it hard to complain too much when the sides just walked away with a bonus point win after last week when everyone was, well, I say everyone, a lot of people were vocal about, it was the ref that gifted them with the result. Well, apparently not, because the All Blacks got it done again. We'll go through some of the key events and the stats. You guys let us know your thoughts on the game. Skelton, unfortunately, didn't last very long in this game. He was a big talking point. What's he going to be able to do? Big physical presence. He was a key part in winning a turnover very early on, but immediately got himself in trouble with the ref, who was very kind of particular on a few things. He didn't want back chat. He marched the All Blacks 10 metres for that one. He didn't want any off-the-ball stuff. He reversed Skelton's first penalty for kind of shoving Roygaard after he'd blown the whistle. So he was trying to stamp his authority, and at the breakdown he was very particular that hands needed to be on the ball and lifting. You couldn't be past the ball, you couldn't be on the ball and not lifting. So yeah, he was pretty particular, and if you weren't going to listen to him, he was blowing the whistle. As I said, 14 penalties each. That's not including all the advantages, that's just the ones that got blown. There was quite a few penalties in the game. So yeah, stamping his authority, reversing a penalty early. D-Mac has a shot, misses it. Didn't have the kicking boots on in the first half at all. Did D-Mac, and the Aussies, when they had their first chance, didn't miss it. I mean, they were looking to keep the ball moving. And at the start of the game, to be fair, the rain wasn't too bad. It seemed to be, the best period of the game in terms of the weather was the start of the game. Popping the ball quick, offloads, left to right. The All Blacks couldn't really live with the speed too much. They went offside. As I said, Ed Med slotted the first kick, so 3 points to 0, Wallabies with the lead. But there's a consistent thing in this first half, is that when the Wallabies made a mistake, they got punished for it. The punishment for this one is that they muck off the kickoff receipt. And it is that kind of next extra set piece, barring your scrum and your liner, you need to catch your receipts. They don't. From there, they concede a penalty, which the All Blacks run a line-out play. And from the second phase, Leroy Carter is able to get himself another try. He's 3 tries in 3 tests. Not a bad start to his career. 7 points to 3, the All Blacks are in front. So the 3 points the Wallabies have just worked hard to get have immediately been wiped off. But that being said, the tit for tat did continue. To Mighty Williams, who did get himself in a little bit of hot water at this game. He got pinged for, again, I mentioned the breakdown stuff. He wasn't on the ball with his hands. The ref doesn't like that. You got to be on the ball and lifting, or you're going to get pinged. He gets pinged. Ed Med slots it, so it's a 1-point game, 7-6. And the Wallabies look to have scored. They only scored the 1 try in the game. It was the second half, so this one gets chalked off. But it was, again, built on that crazy passing speed that they were making the All Blacks defenders, struggle with for a wee while. It was finding lots of space. Quick ball. Alan Alatoa looked to have gone over after Slipper had gone close. I'm kind of glad Slipper didn't score it, because if he'd scored it, it was going to get chalked off anyway. Because there was a Tom Hooper incident where he fell onto the limb of Geordie Barrett, which was pretty bad. The New Zealand commentary team were incredulous that this was an offence, because maybe because the ref called it a croc roll. I was in a chat with someone else who suggested maybe the same thing. But it's certainly dangerous. Well, you're not allowed to fall on the limbs anymore. World Rugby have decided to police that pretty vigorously. It was horrendous. It could have been a big injury for Geordie Barrett. It's very reminiscent of what happened to Quinn Tupaia. It was to Geordie Barrett in the number 12. Geordie Barrett copped a few hits in this game, to be fair. But that's a fair call. Yellow card all day long. I don't know what the New Zealand commentators, I don't know what the Aussie commentators thought about it, but it was not a good look. And it's absolutely a yellow card. So that gets the try chalked off, which is an unfortunate one for Australia, but you can't be falling on the limbs like that. It's what causes many a serious injury, and as I said, including Quinn Tupaia, who would have been having flashbacks when he saw that happen to Geordie. But luckily, Geordie didn't suffer too much from it. But as I said, he was going to get some whacks later on in the game. That being said, despite the yellow card, you feel like the Aussies still played the better game. Like New Zealand got a penalty for not rolling, and Edmed slotted that one to take the lead. That's the points that get scored in the yellow card. They're for the Wallabies. There's none in the All Blacks for this one. And to be fair, it was the Wallabies who had all the ball. New Zealand kept conceding penalties. The Wallabies, though, missed the chance when they had a line out thrown not straight. New Zealand did have a few chances towards the end of the yellow card, knocked it on in play after a line break from, I think it was Fainganuku, and then knocked it on from an attacking line-up move. So both sides won't be too happy with that. In the conditions, it's not, I guess, surprising to see that kind of thing. But the All Blacks finally did get it right. The first one, it's a little bit fluky because Geordie Barrett has the header of all headers to assist Quinn Tupaia with the try. Quinn gets a try on 32 minutes. And again, if you're a Wallabies fan, you'll hate this one because you lost your line out, which is what sets up this try. They've got an attacking line out down the All Blacks end. They lose it, and the All Blacks just counter. Geordie Barrett hoofs a kick through, chases, heads the thing. The All Blacks wouldn't have practiced that one, but it was a hell of a header. Quinn's able to get the football skills going to continue the football theme. It's a header, bit of football skills. He gathers it, and it is try time. They had to check it to make sure there was no knock on, but it was all head. Somehow D-Mac managed to miss the sitter of a conversion, but it's 12-9. All Blacks in front, and it's a quick-fire double. Again, it's an Aussie mistake. They kicked the line out on the full. I think it was Leroy Carter did well to leave it. It hits the line, so it is out. Then they go offside. Then you get Will Jordan with the quick tap from the offside, and Tupaia is able to fend off the tackle of Hooper for a try. 17-9. Honestly, mistakes getting punished. Yeah, it's just test match rugby, isn't it? If you're off by that little percent, you get punished for it. Halftime 17-9. As I said, both sides will not be happy with the amount of ball they've coughed up. Like turnovers conceded is 9-10, with the All Blacks having 10, but that's a lot for one half of rugby. The Wallabies lineout's 2 from 4, so at 50%. The All Blacks is not much better, 4 from 6, but it's still better. The Aussies have had the possession, they've had the passes, they've had the run meters, but their tackle percentage is 73, man. You can't be missing that many tackles. The All Blacks will punish you for it, even if their back line ain't looking that slick. At times it's clunky, it's a header, which is a bit of a fluky one, but you are going to get punished at test match level. And it would have been worse if D-Mac had his kicking boots on in that first half. Penalty counts 6-7, one more for the ABs. But remember, they have had the yellow card, the Aussies, and Skelton's not lasted long because he went off for an HIA, which he failed. Second half, you do get an ovation for James Slipper when he leaves the field, which is a fitting one. Dude's been a legend of Aussie rugby for many a year, so not the send-off he would have wanted, but he gets his moment, so hope he enjoys his retirement, and that's when the rain really starts coming down as well. Iki Tau gets himself yellow carded for head-on-head with Tupaia. 2 upright, it's yellow card all day long. Penalty count finishes even in this game. Yellow cards is 2 zip to the Wallabies, but both of them are blatant. So it ends up getting reviewed and stays a yellow. But again, despite the yellow card, man, the All Blacks were not the dominant team for a lot of it. The Aussies had their chances. You had Wilson down the right wing, puts a little grubber through. Simon Parker's able to dot that one down. Edmed, after a bunch of phases, just puts a dinking kick through. The All Blacks are able to mark it. It's a bit of a nothing one. And then there's a line out, I think, which they knock on. So just, you'd be frustrated if you're a Wallabies fan. I mean, the All Blacks did some silly things in the card period as well. Will Jordan got himself isolated around Fraser McCright which is not a good idea because that guy's a weapon at the breakdown. And then Tamaiti Williams with a clean out off the ruck gets himself pinged and then march 10 metres as well for back chat. So, yeah, not a 10 minutes that either side will look back on with any kind of glee. And then, yeah, there was a first points of the second half when D-Mac got his kicking boots on, slotted a penalty after Valentini had high tackled Geordie Barrett, who, as I said, was copping. I think he got one in the family jewels contesting a high ball with Suoli a wee bit later on, so he was in the wars, was Geordie Barrett. But yeah, 20 points to 9. Looking a little bit more comfortable for the All Blacks until Iki Tau gets himself a try. It's the only Wallabies try of the match. It is a close range one. They had advantage, collapsed small by the ABs. It's a little dot down. He's kind of playing halfback. He's always Johnny on the spot as Iki Tau, so he gets the try. Conversion, it's the post. 20 points to 14. Back to game on. But New Zealand breakdown work on the kick chase, which is really pleasing because it's not really a thing the All Blacks are focused on, like kick a high ball and just swamp the breakdown. It's a thing we usually see happen to us, not for us, but they did that well. D-Mac nailed a kind of tricky kick. 23 points to 14, 2-score game. Chasing the bonus point, it's clunky. It takes a while. There's a line out stolen, which is a golden opportunity for the ABs. Then there's seemingly one last chance, but then the game gets stopped for Fluke, who got knocked out, the Aussie replacement. But then when they restart the game with a scrum, All Blacks are able to go through close range phases. Artie pops at the George Bauer, the replacement prop, and that is the bonus point. Missed conversion, but 28 points to 14. Like I said, All Blacks good value for the win. They punished the Aussie errors. I still don't think this All Black side is close to the finished article because the back line at times, just like you get like Whanganuka making a break and then the pass would get knocked on, and yeah, headers. Maybe headers is the way we need to go, but still, as I said, I can't complain. It's actually ticked over past midnight now. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. It's my birthday. So All Blacks have gifted me a birthday win. I can't complain. And we got the next match to go shortly as well. Possession finishes with the Wallabies. Territory with the ABs. The Wallabies finish with the greater clean break count 5-4. But remember, it was like 5-1 at halftime, 5-3 at halftime. So the Wallabies didn't get any in the second half. Defenders beaten 29-17 to the ABs, which means the Wallabies missed 29 tackles, which is the greater number, despite having more ball. So again, the tackle count is not pretty reading for them. 83%. The All Blacks are at 91, which is a big difference, honestly. Line out for the Wallabies, 66%. Again, that's not going to get it done. The All Blacks were at 80 in the conditions. Turnovers conceded was a bit better in the second half, despite the rain, 15-13 all up. So more of them in the first half. But yeah, Jorgensen, 82 metres. Wilson, 47. Those guys were both busy. McCray at the breakdown, 3 turnovers, 1. That guy was a weapon, like I said. But Will Jordan, despite getting kind of hip dropped towards the end by Jorgensen, it's not an offence in rugby union, but 90-odd metres, 3 defenders beaten. Newell had 19 from 19 tackles. Whanganuku busted 6. But yeah, there you go. Bledisloe 2 in the bag. It's the All Blacks who get the win. Some people said it wouldn't happen away from home, that it was only Eden Park or that it was only the ref last week. But no, it's a decent enough win. And yeah, as I said, I think pretty good value for it. Now we're off to see if it makes a difference in the Rugby Championship or if the Box are going to steamroll their way to another title. You guys take care of yourselves. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Buy us a beer, birthday beer, down in the description. Take care. Talk to you guys again soon. See you later.